Technology transfer, also called as transfer of technology, refers to handing over or transferring a technology to the industry in order to commercialize that new technology. There are lots of steps, precautions required before a technology is transferred, and in this video I will explain you how the technology should be transferred and what are the precautions as a technology developer or technology buyer you should be taking. This is Bindu Sharma from Origin IP Solutions, a leading IP and legal services providing company based in Bangalore. In case of technology transfer, along with the main technology, know-how, methodology, processes, confidential information, and trade secrets are also often transferred by technology developer to the technology buyer. And this transfer is completed by execution and signing of a technology transfer agreement, which is very similar to the way sale deed is signed at the time of buying or selling of the house when ownership is transferred from seller to the buyer of house. The agreement, generally called as technology transfer agreement, has all the terms and conditions agreed between the parties to complete the process of technology transfer. However, technology transfer is very sensitive in nature and is prone to getting exploited easily due to intangible nature of the technology. Therefore, lots of precautions need to be taken while entering into technology transfer kind of a arrangement. Fundamental question that arises is why to transfer a technology? Well, to develop a new technology or a product, there is huge investment involved in terms of time, money, and resources. After technology is developed, scaling up the technology to industrial level and bringing it to the market could be very challenging for the technology developer. On top of it, if technology developer does not have clue about how to sell the technology, he may be wasting a lot of time without substantial gains. It is a moment of great joy for the technology developer to see his technology working well at industrial level and reaching consumers effectively. In order to commercialize the technology, usually technology developer, being a scientist or researcher, does not have expertise, resources, and bandwidth to manufacture, market, and sell the technology on his own. Therefore, it makes a lot of sense for the technology developer to transfer technology to a suitable company that is already into manufacturing similar products and has well established system to manufacture, market, and sell the product in a given territory or in a given country. If executed well, usually technology transfer is beneficial to both developer and buyer of technology. On one hand, technology developer gets opportunity to join hands with the buyer and commercialize the technology, and on the other hand, the technology buyer gets opportunity to new technology which may add a lot of value to his business. Technology transfer can happen in various ways, but it generally happens by means of licensing, assignment, or joint venture. In licensing, the technology developer permits the buyer to use the technology for a specific period of time without transferring the ownership. Whereas, in case of assignment of technology, the technology developer transfers technology to the buyer permanently, and in this process, ownership is also transferred. In joint venture, both developer and buyer, they come together, join hands, and establish business jointly. Depending upon the preferences of the parties, suitable mode of technology transfer may be worked out. Further, the technology can be licensed in exclusive or non-exclusive manner. In case of exclusive license, the technology developer agrees not to grant license to any other company, whereas in case of non-exclusive license, technology developer can grant license to more than one companies. Now let's understand what are the steps to transfer a technology once the technology is developed. The first step is documentation of the technology. Detailed documentation of technology to be transferred is very critical. If there is a possibility to register technology as copyright, patent, or design, it should be done by the technology developer before technology transfer process is initiated. Novelty in the technology, problem statement, working of the technology, prototype details, feasibility studies shall be documented in detail. Specific emphasis shall be given to the extent of know-how, confidential information that developer discloses to the buyer, because once this information is disclosed to the buyer, there is no way to recover it back. For this reason, it will be wise for the developer to register intellectual property wherever possible so that disclosure of technology becomes easier and safer. In the second step, I would advise to make a BEDP or Basic Engineering Design Package for the technology that is being transferred. This helps the industry to simulate the manufacturing process of the technology and scale up the technology. In step 3, valuation of the technology shall be done. Technology developer shall have idea about value of the technology. Initially, relying on secondary market research data related to market need, size, preferences, and applying right techniques, value of technology shall be estimated. In step 4, at least 50-60 potential companies that may be interested in buying the technology shall be listed out, and further contact details of top officials or decision making officials in the company shall be extracted. After names of the companies to be contacted that have been extracted, and you also have details about the key personals in the company to be contacted, such companies shall be contacted and positive leads shall be separated out for further follow up. Discussion with these companies may be initiated to finalize the deal. Usually, lots of communications and negotiations happen at this stage. After value and price of technology and other terms and conditions they have been finalized by the parties in step 5, execution of agreement happens, and this is usually the final step where all terms and conditions agreed between the developer of technology and buyer of the technology, they are converted into the agreement, and this agreement is often called as technology transfer agreement. Now let's see some of the precautions that buyer of technology and developer of technology should be taking before entering into a technology transfer agreement. Technology developer shall be clear about the kind of rights he is granting to the buyer and the jurisdictions to which such rights extend to. Further, value of technology that technology developer is getting, and royalty, payment terms, applicable taxes shall also be made clear in the agreement. Most of the times, technology developer is required to provide initial assistance to the buyer in terms of setting up meetings and training for the teams. In such a case, technology developer shall ensure that he is getting paid for such trainings and his travel is also taken care of. Term of the agreement, ways of terminating, Effect of termination shall be checked properly. Exit from the agreement shall be smooth for both the parties. Other than this, clauses on indemnity, governing law, dispute resolution may also be looked into thoroughly. If you are a technology buyer, you need to check status of IPs filed or granted in the name of technology developer. If patent forms substantial part of technology transfer agreement, it is required to get validation search done in order to check strength of the patent. Further, legal status, term of the patent, countries in which patent is filed or granted is also needed to be checked thoroughly. As a part of technology transfer, if technology developer is going to assign patent to the buyer, it is important to make note of prosecution detail of the patent, especially the renewal fee payable annually in different countries, because if such IP is going to be assigned to the buyer, all the liabilities and future fee payments also form part of the responsibility of the buyer. Scope of rights granted to the buyer shall be such that it should enable buyer to sell the end product smoothly without any hindrance. Freedom to operate analysis shall be performed by the buyer to see if the product made using technology of the developer is safe to be launched in a given jurisdiction. Invention of the technology developer may work very well in the laboratory, but in order to bring product in the market, scalability of the technology shall be checked by the buyer. It is better to obtain prototype or feasibility studies data from the technology developer. Now let's have a look at a very famous case study of jasmine exporters in Tamil Nadu. So this case study relates to the issue with the exporting flowers to different countries and how this problem was solved, and a brilliant solution to export flowers was found. As you know that Tamil Nadu is a leading producer of jasmine in India, and the flowers produced in the state are being exported to various countries like Singapore, Malaysia, Sri Lanka and United States. Due to long travel time, the flowers would get spoiled and lose fragrance. More precisely, the post harvest losses were 35 to 40%, and this was causing a huge loss to the flower growers. There was an attempt made to solve this problem by working on better packaging technology. ICAR, along with NAIP sponsored project, Value Chain on Flowers for Domestic and Export Markets, in collaboration with Vanguard Exports, a private successful flower exporter, developed a reliable export packaging technology that would cater to the near and far overseas markets. R&D of the project was undertaken by Tamil Nadu Agriculture University. The technology was provided to jasmine growers and entrepreneurs through training programs and demonstrations. A total of 1,280 growers and entrepreneurs were trained through 26 training programs in jasmine growing area of Tamil Nadu. The technology primarily involved treatment of flower bud strings with boric acid, followed by packing in ventilated corrugated fiber board boxes with butter paper lining, and the ventilation was made by making holes in the boxes. After proper packaging, the boxes were airlifted to respective destinations. The packaging in case of longer travel further involved packing of boric acid treated flower bud strings in aluminum foil lined boxes. These boxes in turn are packaged in large thermocol boxes with ice gel packs to maintain the temperature and humidity inside the box. These thermocol boxes are transported in refrigerated vans to airport, and then they were dispatched to respective destinations. With this packaging technology, shelf life of flowers increased to 72 hours from 36 hours. Post-harvest losses were reduced from 40 to 10%, and export volume increased to 1000 kilogram per day from 500 kg a day. That was in 2008. So net profit also increased from 9,250 rupees a day to 17,500 rupees a day. For Dubai market, export volume increased to 900 kg a day from 600 kg a day. And net profit hiked from 200 to 50 rupees a day to 9,250 rupees a day. Tamil Nadu Flower Growers Association that was linked directly to Jasmine Exporter for marketing, and the patent for this packaging technology was filed in the name of Tamil Nadu Agriculture University, and the patent number was 1370 CHE 2010. Technology transfer is a very effective way to commercialize new technology. If worked out well, both technology developer and buyer can be benefited by this arrangement. However, both parties shall be aware of terms and conditions they are going to agree upon and make this arrangement win-win for both the parties. Thank you for watching this video today. For any queries related to our services, you can contact us. Email ID and phone number is given in the video description. See you again. Till then, keep learning, keep innovating. Goodbye.